A cross came in from the right. A good one. The kind of ball Cristiano Ronaldo built an entire mythology on. The leap, the hang time, the header buried before the goalkeeper could blink. It floated to the back post exactly where he was standing. And Cristiano Ronaldo did not jump. He didn't mistime it. He didn't get muscled off it. He just didn't jump. A Congo defender headed it away like it was nothing because to him, it was nothing. A routine clearance off a man who used to be Cristiano Ronaldo. That one moment, the leap that never came, is the whole story of Portugal's World Cup opener. Because while the rest of football's legends spent this week writing history, Portugal walked out against the Democratic Republic of Congo and tried to win a World Cup match with 10 men and a statue. So let's be honest about what we all watched, because the pundits are tiptoeing and the manager is in denial, and somebody needs to just say it. The day before Ronaldo played, his great rival reminded the planet what an aging legend is supposed to look like. Lionel Messi scored a hat trick against Algeria, dragging himself level with Miroslav Klose as the joint highest scorer in World Cup history with 16 goals, double Ronaldo's tally. Kylian Mbappe scored twice and became France's all-time leading scorer. Erling Haaland scored twice on his debut. The stage was set perfectly for Ronaldo to answer. He had the chance to become the first man ever to score in 6 different World Cups, and instead, Portugal labored to a 1-1 draw against a Congo side ranked among the weakest in the tournament, playing in their first World Cup in 52 years, and Ronaldo was a ghost. Look at the numbers, because they are brutal. Portugal had 75% of the ball, 75%, and they managed exactly 1 shot on target all game. The 6th-minute header from João Neves gave them the lead. Congo, with a quarter of the possession, had more shots on target, and a higher expected goals total than one of the pre-tournament favorites. And the man at the center of it, the supposed finisher, the reason this whole system exists? 25 touches. The fewest of any Portugal outfield player who lasted the full 90 minutes. 3 shots, none on target. It was the 6th time in his World Cup career he has finished a match without putting a single shot on goal. Here's the most damning part, and one writer nailed it. Ronaldo wasn't doing things badly. He was doing nothing at all. There was no shanked volley, no horror miss, no supercut for social media. He was simply a void. A theoretically present human being who might as well have been a wisp of smoke drifting around the edges of the box. For just over an hour, the greatest goal scorer in the history of the sport contributed less than the kit man. And when he finally did get 2 chances, both cutbacks from the byline, he fluffed both wide of the near post. Were they sitters? Not quite. But here's the thing about the player Ronaldo used to be. The player Ronaldo used to be gobbled those up in his sleep. That player is gone. This statue has now gone 10 consecutive games at major tournaments, World Cups and Euros, without scoring. 10. More than 800 minutes. His last non-penalty goal at this level was in June 2021. That's not a slump. That's an ERA ending in public, and everyone can see it except the 2 men who most need to. Because the second chance was worse than a miss. It exposed the ego. Bruno Fernandes was right behind him, in a better position, with a clearer sight of goal, and Ronaldo got in the way of the pass to take it himself. Thierry Henry, watching on Fox, cut straight to the bone. He said the team needs to score, not you. If Ronaldo just steps into the 6-yard box, the defender follows him. And it's a tap-in for Fernandes. But he wants the goal. So he kills his own team's best chance to be the one who scores it. That is the Ronaldo problem in a single play. The drought has made him desperate, and the desperation makes him selfish, and the selfishness costs Portugal. So why on earth is he still on the pitch after 90 minutes? And this is where we stop blaming the 41-year-old and start blaming the coward in the dugout. Roberto Martinez did make substitutions. He took off Bernardo Silva at halftime. He took off Pedro Neto after 70 minutes. And when he finally brought on a striker, Goncalo Ramos, the man who made way was not Ronaldo. It was midfielder Vitinha. Read that again. Portugal needed a goal, brought on a center forward, and removed a midfielder to keep the center forward who had not had a shot on target. At Euro 2024, Martinez substituted Ronaldo in exactly one of his 5 games. The pattern is undeniable. Every player on that team can be held accountable, except the one who needs it most. Chris Sutton said it live on the BBC. He was right. It is embarrassing. Martinez is scared to take him off. He is not the manager. Ronaldo is. They have even started calling him the manager of Portugal, and it is not really a joke. Martinez's defense after the game gave the whole game away. It makes no sense, he said, to take off the best goal scorer in the history of football in a match where you need goals. And buried in there is the magic word, the one that condemns the entire decision, history. Ronaldo is the best goal scorer in the history of football. History. Past tense. Martinez is naming a player who does not exist anymore and using that ghost to justify starting the man who is left. And before anyone says it is just one bad night, it is not. And the data is merciless. Across Portugal's last 4 matches in major competitions, Ronaldo has played 396 of a possible 420 minutes, and in those games, Portugal scored a grand total of 1 goal. When he starts, Portugal average 1.9 goals a game, and even that number is propped up by a 9-1 thrashing of Armenia. When he does not start, that average jumps to 2.8. The team is measurably, demonstrably better without him. It is genuinely hard to watch that Congo match and not conclude that Portugal would have won it if Ronaldo simply had not played. Now here's the comparison that should haunt them, because it isn't really about age at all. Messi is old too. But Messi adapted. He dropped deeper, became the creator, used his brain and his passing and his spatial awareness, and let the faster players run beyond him. Argentina built a team around an aging legend who accepted a new role, and it works. Portugal built a team around an aging legend who refuses to. Ronaldo still wants to be the number 9, the focal point, the man the cross is for, except the legs that made that role possible left years ago. Anything Messi could do this week, Ronaldo couldn't do better. He could only stand still and wait for a service that meant nothing because he can't get on the end of it anymore. Let me be fair, because this channel doesn't do cheap shots without the receipts. It is not entirely Ronaldo's fault. If you were indulged for long enough, picked every single game, chanted for by a full stadium holding signs saying you'll always be my GOAT, you'd probably believe you still had it too. It's hard to let go, especially with 1,000 career goals glinting on the horizon and your old rival still doing it. And there's even a version where he's useful as a late break glass in emergency option, off the bench, the way Ancelotti uses Neymar, or as a decoy who stands cleverly offside to drag defenders out of shape, as Rooney pointed out. But all of those uses require one thing: Ronaldo on the bench, not anchoring the line for the full 90. The problem was never that Ronaldo is in the squad. The problem is that he starts, he stays, and he strangles a team that's good enough to win this whole thing. And the cruelest detail of all, Ronaldo shouldn't even have played. He was supposed to be suspended for this match after a red card against Ireland, but somehow got a suspended ban and walked onto the pitch anyway, with more than a few people pointing at FIFA's and the host nation's obsession with keeping the famous faces front and center. One outlet's player rating read simply, "Gianni Infantino shouldn't have bothered." Think about that. Had FIFA just enforced its own rules, Portugal would have been forced to play without him, forced to find another striker, another shape, another way, and they might have won. Even the favoritism designed to protect Ronaldo ended up sabotaging his team. So here's where Portugal actually stand. They have one of the deepest squads in the tournament. Vitinha, Bruno, Bernardo, pace out wide in Leao, and Conceição, a genuine contender. And for the third major tournament in a row, they are at risk of throwing it all away. Not because they aren't good enough, but because a manager is too frightened to make the one call everybody watching already knows he should make. 10 men and a statue. They are sacrificing another World Cup on the altar of one man's ego. The statue isn't going to score. It can't anymore. The only real question left is whether anyone in that Portugal setup is brave enough to finally move it. So what do you think? Is it time for Portugal to bench Ronaldo, or do you still trust him to produce one last miracle? Drop it in the comments and subscribe if you don't want to miss any World Cup news.